It was about that time too that Albert set off on his project working with the band, tribute band, or the whatever it was. And now I see that you guys are kind of like reconnecting in some way creatively, aren't you? Didn't you play an event last weekend or this weekend where you guys you and Albert Rogers are getting together again and hanging out and doing some stuff?
Yeah, I'm not really sure how the hell that happened, to be honest with you. Do you know?
No.
Albert's somebody. I mean, you got to understand that we all live on the coast here. I mean, Albert, Casey's in the Myrtle Beach area, and I moved back home to like the Laurinburg area. I got a place there, and Albert lives in Southport, so we're all like within an hour from each other. And so, we've always stayed in touch. Even when Albert was with the band, I guess between Casey and I and Albert were always the closest, and we were just, I don't know, we just stayed in touch with each other. And during the pandemic, and while we decided that we didn't want to travel as much, and obviously the weight, the remnants of the band or whatever, they're obviously not playing because they play huge like venues and stuff, and they're shut down. And basically they only play weekends anyway. They don't play a lot of weekday gigs. And so we're like, it'll be fun I think musically just to do something different, and we could play locally. It'll be fun. Let's just do a little trio.
As everything's opening back up, I mean, frankly, like money wise, bars and then clubs and stuff, like they're trying to get people in, trying to get entertainment in, but like they're just hiring, a lot of them are just hiring duos and trios, for financial reasons. People are just happy something's open and there's music, so our manager was like, you guys want to do a trio? And I was like, well, we got two of us.
Right.
And Jim's like, let me see if Albert wants to do it. I was like, okay.
You call it the Brothers.
We're still
Malarkey,
not sure that's a good idea.
We're still not sure if he's going to show up today. The Malarkey Brothers.
Yeah.
I mean, Albert's unstable at best, but we love him. But you just his phone will go straight to voicemail for a week, or you just never know.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a few practices,
but we choose to love him.
Yeah, we absolutely love him.
It's a choice.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, of all the artists that I have hung out with over the years in this business, it's the most fun kind of being around this group of guys, because it seems like unless you're really good actors that you enjoy it and that you have an energy and a passion for the music and for feeding off and feeding the energy of your audiences.
Man, I think that's well said. But you got to understand that we find a lot of humor in music. We really do. A lot of people just take it too serious.
Take themselves too serious. There's a line, like,
I mean, the whole thing is just ironic. I mean, the idea of standing on stage, playing instruments, and people sitting around a room drinking and eating and watching us sit here just beating around on instruments and stuff and singing lyrics. And I mean, the whole thing's just stupid, really. So we find humor in it, and I don't know, the whole thing's funny. I mean, it's just hilarious.
I'm glad people enjoy watching us while they eat their burritos. Thank you.
And instead of we've never had egos about it. I mean, people are like, well, Jim just walked away. And Jim didn't. One or two reasons Jim didn't talk to you is either because he was hammered, or either because
probably had to go to the bathroom.
He's got to go take a bathroom,
or because people. Yeah, too many people are just pulling. People pull us around like crazy. So we get tugged around. But yeah, I mean, we've never. I don't think any of us have ever really had any like issues with ego. We find it very humorous with people with egos, because it's like, really. I mean,
you really think you're something?
I mean,
like, really?
I mean, yeah. I mean, there are people that have gone to school for half of their lives to be able to save us with heart surgeries. And we learn to play 4 chords, get up there and shake our ass. And all of a sudden we're Elvis or something, it's like, what? It's crazy.
Well, speaking of doing surreal things and things that are kind of not taking yourself too seriously, Jim, you're an artist now these days. Well, I would assume that you've painted. Casey, you're an artist. But you're also sitting next to a guy who's making money painting pictures of chickens. You know, what's up with that?
Yeah. Where did you ever think of that? Man, look at my shoes right now.
What you have the bands on?
No.
Oh, you got the man. How about that?
You got
Casey has these shoes on right now.
The blue Chucks.
He's got the blue Chucks.
So mine are PF Flyers.
Yeah, that's even cooler, really.
Yeah, it is.
Well, actually, I was doing the tomatoes forever, and I said, Casey, I'm tired of painting tomatoes. I'm gonna start painting chickens. Casey said, what, nobody wants to see chickens. You got to do something with it. Do something cool. I said, what do you mean? He's like do chickens in shoes.
I mean, he was like, wait, yes. I'm like, so I sent him like a PDF of all the different kinds of chickens, American chickens, I think.
Yeah.
And then a list of great shoes that he could put them in. He can mix and match.
Yeah. You said American chickens.
I mean,
the Indonesian chickens are very strange. I have seen them.
Yeah.
I mean, doing this research.
I feel like our people would connect with American country chickens better.
Yeah.
There's a method to the chickens. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, Casey is a phenomenal artist, and he actually looked at me the first time ever, because I painted a bunch of stuff since he's known me, and I always tell him it looks like a third grader did it. The first chicken I did, Casey said, "Hey, that's pretty good."
That's pretty good. That's a chicken. Sure is.
So I'm taking that as the biggest compliment I've ever gotten, because Casey Meyer he's pretty hard on me about the art outside of it. But it's a decent chicken.
And he's making prints, which is smart.
Yeah.
You know?
I know.
This poor guy, anytime wants somebody with a tomato picture, he was making one from scratch. I'm like, dude, paint 3 of them and make prints. Like, the poor guy had to paint 800 tomato and mayonnaise pictures. Guess I got to stretch another canvas. I'm like, there's an easier way. I mean, people aren't getting, but you just don't go buy a Van Gogh or something. You got to buy a print of it.
Right.
Unless you cough up the big bucks.
Everybody. I have an original story night. So do I.
Right. We all do.
We all do.
But I mean, you have created a market for chickens in shoes. And there are people who are going to hang these chickens in shoes in their $1.5 million beach houses and say, I got me a quick.
Right.
Have you ordered one yet, Tony?
I haven't yet. Yet.
All right. We're waiting.
The first one that got bought actually is going into, I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of apropos too. It's going into a Zaxby's. They framed it and they're putting it into a Zaxby's chicken,
Fantastic.
And the second one that got purchased, they actually hung it in a very expensive beach home, and they showed me that it was in hanging over the toilet. They took a picture of it hanging over the toilet by the garage.
What does that mean? Think about that.
I don't know.
What's that saying to people?
That's saying the wife wouldn't let him put it anywhere. Just say that's what it's saying. That's what it's saying. The wife would let him hang it in the house.
I like it, but my wife hates it.
Yeah, it's fair. It's that demographic we're talking about.
So you got the radio show
of the toilet.
Yeah, that's right. And we got a velvet painting of Gary Lauder over the fireplace.
I love those velvet paintings of Gary Lauder.
So you got the radio show, you're painting chickens, you're writing songs, you're releasing new albums. Creatively, what is this next 12 months going to look like for Jim Quick, Casey Meyer's Coastline? I mean, what's pandemic? Hopefully, prayerfully, is going to break here in the next little bit. People are starting to get out a little bit. What's the next 12 months going to look like for you guys as artists in various ways?
Well, in Coastline world, I feel like even though our album came out last October, once people start actually coming out to gigs, we'll probably kind of start the album push, again, because
it'll have a revival.
It'll have a revival of the revival, you could say.
But at the same time, we've been working with them. I hate to say we've been working on the Malarkey brothers because that's not accurate, but we've been getting together some and for this project with the Malarkey brothers. But Casey and I think haven't we discussed that we're still gonna write and maybe even put like a like a EP out, like a small album from Coastline, maybe in the future.
We've discussed that. Yes.
I mean, because it's like, I don't know, our creative juices are flowing, and we might just throw a curveball. It's like, wow, just like get a couple of songs and release them, and it's like totally different from what they expected, just like before. I don't know. I know we want to do some video stuff. We've been talking about that. I don't know.
And we got more material coming for other album projects too. So there's lots of stuff. You just gotta prioritize, figure out where to put it.
Right now, I think we're just getting warmed up to the new schedule. We're pumped up about going back on tour. I think the summer tour is what we're kind of focusing on right now, because we got a lot of dates. A lot of things were from last year. They rescheduled, and a lot of people, because of the Revival album and because how popular the band has become because of the first 3 releases, everybody's wanting to book Coastline right now, and we're basically. Well, our manager's in the corner, but I can say that we're basically booked up, right, for the. Really for the rest of the year. We got a few dates, but
which is great, because a couple of years, everyone was convinced it didn't exist. So it's really a nice turn of events.
That's just the truth.
Well, we can't book Jim. He's moved to Maine. We're like, what? Totally got the wrong state wrong. He's still here. Like, I mean, you couldn't convince people. We're like, no, literally, here's the band. They're like, yeah, sorry, you guys aren't here. We're like, no, we're here to play. That's unfortunate. Like, are you listening to anything I'm telling you right now?
I know, it was really like that. People would come back and say, well, I see you singing with Coastline tonight. I never left Coastline. That's not really what happened. I'm still here and everything. Well, we're so glad you made it tonight to sit in with the guys. Now, I'm with them all the time. They're like, well, we appreciate you coming today. When are you going back to Nashville? I'm like, you're not listening to anything I'm saying. People make up their minds, and they just hear what they want to.
You can't change it.
No.
So be careful what information you choose to give people.
Right. And I think it's like Facebook, man. You got to be careful what you write, because they'll only read what they want to. You could say something sarcastic and then write this whole paragraph behind what really happened, and all they read is the sarcasm, and then they're gone, so
take it and run.
Yeah. You got to be careful, and the stories about Casey and I going to Nashville and oh man, I'm not sure we handled that very well, or I did. I don't think you had anything to do with that part. So yeah,
I just had to go left or right. I wasn't going left.
In hindsight, I should have handled that a different way. Yeah. That led to a lot of confusion.
The guy jumping
but at the same time,
bikini models. I mean,
no, it's true. Down south, they are celebrating its 10th anniversary this year, which is cool. It's hard to believe it's been 10 years, but yeah, that's cool. And those girls were not very nice. So you can analyze that video the way you want to, but they were a bunch of hired models, and it was very cold, and that water, they filled the pool up the day before with hose pipe spigot water. It was cold. It was in Lake Norman outside of Charlotte. It was late March, early April. It was crazy. It was cold.
They weren't happy to be there.
No, nobody was happy to be
there.
And
then Jim showed up.
And then I tried to make everybody happy, but no.
At least in the video, it looked like it had the opposite effect, but that's okay. Guys, thank you so much for being with me. I'm excited. You are playing the festival circuit out there. There are chances for folks to see you. There's the album and the radio show. I'm so very excited about the radio show. Can't wait to hear the first installment of it, and because I enjoyed the show that you did before, because it was. I think it was a reflection of a lot of the music that I love to listen to, and I can't wait to listen to the Swamp Soul show this weekend.
Well, I will say that if people want to get the new album, they can go to getrevivalalbum.com.
Right.
Because you want to get it.
Right.
Getrevivalalbum.com.
G-E-T. Not like the cable guy.
Right.
It's G is spelled correctly. The Queen's English.
Revival Album.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely have to get the Revival album, and because I have not.
And we have it on vinyl too, actually, just because we're awesome like that. It's on vinyl too.
Yeah, we have them on vinyl. Yeah, I prefer the vinyl, and we've had fans that actually have gone out and bought like record players because they wanted to hear it on vinyl, and it's a big difference, I love it. You know, it's fantastic. You know, but go to getrevivalalbum.com. As far as the radio show goes, you go to swampsoul.com. As far as the band goes, just go to jimquick.com and chickensandshoes.com. Oh my goodness. We got to, you make it sound like there's a lot going on.
There is. If you want it, we have it.
Yeah.
You got your whole family of domains. I love it.
Yeah.
Malarkeybrothers.com. We got just nonstop.
And if you think we don't sell what you need, meet us behind the building, because we probably do.
Right. My name's Lenny, and I have plenty.
Jim Quick, Casey Myers, thank you so much, guys, for visiting with us, and we'll see you out on the road. Heck, I got to get to the beach or somewhere near there real soon to see you guys.
Man, thank you, Tony, so much for having us, man. It's an honor.